This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
October 6th, 1943, only 3 days before Yom Kippurim, 400 prominent Rabbanim marched to Washington to gain audience with President Roosevelt to protest what was happening to the Jewish people, how they were being exterminated in the camps in Europe. This was only 3 days before Yom Kippurim. And among those 400 Rabbanim were prominent Gedolei Yisrael, Reb Lazer Silver of Cincinnati, Rav Avram Kalmanovich of the Vad HaHatzala, and a young Rav who would later be the Gadol Hadar, Rav Moshe Feinstein, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha. All of these great Rabbanim took out time from their busy schedules to do the most important thing in the world, stand up for the Jewish people. They gave up their precious time, they gave up their learning to be able to stand up for Klal Yisrael. And it's important at a rally that there be representatives of the full gamut of the Jewish people. Because in 1943, Roosevelt was influenced by a Reform Rabbi, Stephen Wise, who said, no, don't pay attention to them, don't grant them audience. They don't represent the entirety of the Jewish people. They only represent a small segment. So in order for a rally not just to be dismissed, it's important that there be impressive numbers so that nobody could say, well, it's only representative of a segment of the Jewish people. So for all of you who took out time from your busy schedule, who took out time to travel hours down to Washington, to give up of your time, to give up an entire day. A day is a very precious commodity. To do what? To show your love for Klal Yisrael. Do you know how meaningful that is to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Don't ever forget for a moment as you're traveling how valuable, how important it is to love the Jewish people. The Ramchal teaches us in Masilas Yesharim, Parak Yotes, Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ohev Elo Lemi She'ohev Es Yisrael. God only loves one who loves the Jewish people. The more a person magnifies his love for the Jewish people, Gam HaKadosh Baruch Hu Magdil Alav, the Rebbeinu Shalom magnifies his love for you. So there could be no greater activity than to demonstrate on behalf of Achinu Beis Yisrael. And yes, of course, we're Ma'aminim B'nei Ma'aminim. We believe wholeheartedly that the most effective way to help is by learning Torah, by davening. But we are human, and human beings have to put in human efforts and have to put in hishtadlus. And I can't help but think that isn't it important that we show our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael that we're not just willing to daven for them and to learn for them, but we're willing to actively march and demonstrate for them? I mean, if somebody was in need, and somebody needed charity, would you say, well, look, I'll daven for you, I'll learn for you, I need help? If somebody was ill, would it be okay just to say, I'll daven for you? Don't you have to try to help the person with medical advice and with medicine? Don't you have to try to help the person with funding for tzedakah? When our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael are in need, do they only want to see us davening? Or does it give them strength when they see we're willing to march for them? Of course it gives them strength. So aren't we obligated to do that? Aren't we obligated to do whatever we can to be mechazek Achinu Beis Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael? If we don't have the privilege to live in Eretz Yisrael, the least we could do is to stand up for them. Isn't that a basic and fundamental responsibility? And therefore, kol hakavod to any of you who took out time from your busy schedule to travel to Washington, to stand up for the Jewish people, to participate in this rally. The amazing observation when the Rebbeinu Shalom tells Moshe Rabbeinu that he's going to visit punishment, poiked avoin avois al banim, al shileshim, al ribeim, that Hashem visits punishment for sin on 2 generations, 3, 4. The pasuk says, "Vayimaher Moshe." Moshe hurried; he ran away, so to speak. Where is he running? The Chizkuni writes, He was running. He didn't want the Ribbon Shalom to say, Al Chimeshim on 5 generations, on 6 generations. Moshe, in other words, stopped the Ribbon Shalom in his tracks. He didn't let the Ribbon Shalom continue. But the Ibn Ezra challenges such an approach. He calls such an approach Reikei Mayach, unsensible. If Moshe would have done such a thing, if Moshe Rabbeinu would have interrupted HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he would be liable to the death penalty. He's rebelling, so to speak. What a shame it is. That's not respectful behavior to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbe Shalom is talking, Moshe Rabbeinu is going to interrupt Hashem. So the Ibn Ezra rejects that Moshe Rabbeinu ran away in order to interrupt Hashem. But says Chassam Sofer, no. Indeed, Moshe Rabbeinu ran away to interrupt Hashem. Because even if that is not so respectful, the leaders of the Jewish people take responsibility upon themselves to put foremost on their attention the welfare of the Jewish people, even at personal expense. And even if it meant Moshe Rabbeinu jeopardizing his life, Moshe Rabbeinu, the Raya Mehemna, the faithful shepherd, would give it all up just to protect the Jewish people. So you have to understand, all of you who are taking time out of your busy schedule to support the Jewish people, to support Eretz Yisrael. You're following in the ways of the great leaders of Klal Yisrael, who give up everything for the welfare of Klal Yisrael. So we go with feelings, great feelings of Ahava to Klal Yisrael, Ahavas Yisrael, Ahavas Eretz Yisrael. We know the reason we're not in Eretz Yisrael today is because of the Ched HaMeraglim, that they cried bitterly over their fate of going into Eretz Yisrael. And Hashem says, as the Maharal explains, you're crying over going to Eretz Yisrael. This must not be the land of your destiny, so you're not going to go in. The way we're going to go back is we have to stand up for Artseinu HaKadosha. So may our activities yield peiros. It's important for Congress to see that we stand behind them in their support of Klal Yisrael. It's important for the world to see that those who are marching in support of murderers are extremists, that rational, civilized people stand for morality, stand for life, stand for basic human dignity. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless all of our efforts. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu protect Klal Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael. And may HaKadosh Baruch Hu reward all of the precious Jews who are being Moser Nefesh to go to stand up for Eretz Yisrael and for Klal Yisrael, that we should all be Zoicha to see very soon the true redemption, B'bias Goel Tzedek, with the coming of Mashiach, B'mhera v'yameinu. Amen.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.